What is sine law? Sine law is used on any triangle that is greater than 90 degrees or less than. So we have an example right now. Our example would be, and this is something that you might see on your test. $60, $65, 4, and X. So this one would be, instead of the usual 90 degrees that we use to calculate, you can just use 180. That would be appropriate for this equation. These two may or may not be interchangeable depending on if the answer is, I mean actually for my lecture kasi it happened to be interchangeable because what it showed was this was 60 and this was 65, but most often or times, just to be safe, just let the bigger number go first before the small one. So we have 55. So let's calculate. Now, as you can see from the formula, A over sine A, B over sine B, and C over sine C. This is just the opposite sides, so it's just the opposite angle to the opposite side, you know, like the mirror. So like 65 is here because 65 is the opposite of 65x, 60 is here, and 4 here. So let's start with x. Sine is 65. Writing equal sign, 4. And 4, what's opposite of 4? Now once you have that, we are going to transpose this to here. As some people, some professors call it cross multiply. Sine 55. just get my calculator. So your answer would be this 4.42. Right. Let's try another example. Just remember it has to be the opposite side, the opposite angle, because if it's not a sine law, it's a cosine law. So let's say your professor gives you this 55 degrees. And 41. We have two angles in one side. Opposite. And opposite. Cross multiply, aka transpose. So here, sine. So we got the answer. The answer for this one, it's 9.8. 9.98. Sorry, 9.98. start with another example. So this time I'm going to introduce to you what cases are in sine law. So for case 1, we have AAS. Two A's here mean two angles, and one S means one side. So it means that when you have this given, always remember the capital ones are the angles and the small ones are the sides. So how do you solve this? So I got two angles, 50, 60, and one side, B. So we have to solve for C first because it's not given, it's unknown. So we write 180 minus 60 minus 50, and we get 70. Let's try B moon. So 50 I think you can go either ways. Just hold on a second, I'm reading my notes. Alright, I see. So I think all of y'all get how this works. I think some of y'all got it faster than me because this is my first time teaching on a laptop. So whatever answer you get here, this is your answer. It's 5.65 when you do that on a calculator. Side. And since you have your A, I think you can do your C now. 6.13. So let's do it with case 2. So this one, for case 2, we move the B here. It doesn't necessarily have to be moved, okay? Just for the sake of the example, we have that moved, so it's much easier. Now for case 2, it's gonna be the opposite. So instead of 2 angles in one side, you have 2 sides and 1 angle. So for case 2, it's either no triangle, 1 triangle, or 2 triangles. So let's say I want to say A is 5 and capital A is 60 and our B 3. So there is 3 missing here. Sine B, cross multiply, and then now we do the inverse, which is just moving the sign to the opposite side of the equal sign. You can do shift solve on this. But if you don't want to do shift solve, just do this technique. Transpose and do the inverse to find the B. You'd get this 31.31 degrees, and that's for B. our values here. Let's put our data there, up there. Since you have B, you can solve now for C. I'm just getting the angle, so and now resolve for the side. And then let's put it here. Alright. You can solve for this now. Oh, alright. Let me see if you can do this. And if it's gonna yield a result that we want to. Because I think you can just use A for this one. You can use either, when you're looking for this, you can either use this or this, and it will yield the same answer. You can either use A or you can either use B to get the result of C. So alright, that was wrong. Let's put it here. your C would be equal to 5.77. This is on the small c. Let's arrange this equal sign so it's uniform. Now I think some of y'all already get what this is supposed to be. So it's either that or or the one that my prof taught it was C was A. So what he did was he placed it here. So he basically got 5 sine 88.69 angle reason sine 60 degrees. Alright. I was stupid. The equal sign. So all of these are equal. It's a nice way to learn, right? So even if I could use any of these and still yield the same result on each one of these because all of them are equal. You can also get a possible second triangle. So we use B as a reference angle. be calculated as 180 minus the b so it's gonna be here. This one is your 31.31 degrees. And this one is in quadrant 2. So since you have actually this becomes our new b. So since you have a new b, it's also possible that you get a new c. Let me see if this is correct. I don't think it's correct. Alright. So this is the one I said earlier, that this one could possibly be here. The bigger one goes first before the smaller number. And what happened is that even if I flip these, I will still get the same answer. Now, since this one is negative, there's no second triangle, because in order to qualify for a second triangle, it has to be positive, not negative. So therefore, no second triangle. It could also mean that if like you were given a data and you're asked to determine if the drawing of a triangle is existing. If you plug in the values into a calculator and it goes to error, it means that the triangle doesn't exist in real life. Or it can easier be said that the triangle doesn't exist mathematically, that it's just a drawing of a triangle, but it has no real purpose. So, last example. .1 degrees, angle B would be 48.6. A. Okay. Let's solve for B. round it up. I think all of you get the premise naman. So I think